mentioned your daughter, so that's Rachel.
Yes, indeed.
And is she at all into music like her dad, or?
Mercifully, no.
Yes, I hear you. We have 3.
Oh, you do?
Yes, all teenagers, and we're very happy they're not into the music.
No, they're not.
You know what it was, honestly, Keith, it was just total protectiveness on my part, because I knew how hard it was making a career in the music business, and I saw that it was in fact becoming even harder, and I thought, I don't want this tender soul to be subjected to that kind of challenging pursuit. Mind you, if she'd said, Dad, I'm a songwriter, or I'm a musician, or I'm going to be a producer, or whatever, I would have gone all in to help her. But, she's in a completely different field. Whereas, like, friends of mine, I don't know if you know Mark Jordan and Amy Skye, their 2 kids are both full-on singer-songwriters, doing great things in the business, too. So
yeah, it's interesting that you said you saw it getting harder. And you hear from various people in the industry, artists, whether they're indie, professional, saying, you have the internet now and there's so many options. But I think it is harder. There's so much noise out there. It's so hard to break through. And as you know, like with 360 deals and everything else with record labels, I don't know. What's your opinion, Chris?
I definitely think it's harder, Keith.
I agree.
I think, yes, there are a lot more sort of ways of access to find an audience, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And it opens up a particular kind of creativity that maybe doesn't have too much to do with being a musician, but more about being an entrepreneur, which, all good. Mm-hmm. But nobody buys any records. And the amount that the streaming services are paying to creators is minuscule, and until those equations change, it's just really hard to get paid doing it. So, you can still wake up in the morning and write a great song. Anybody's capable of doing that. Mm-hmm. But it's trying to, go through the machinery of the industry and change that great idea that you had in the morning into some sort of enterprise later on in the day. That's the tough part.
Do you think that, you have all the networks set up, like you are a great songwriter, you have the contacts, to go into the right studio, to work with the right producer, the right mixer, everything. Do you think from there that it will work, or it's still tricky?
Well, it can work. There's so much, I want to say not smoke and mirrors, but there's so much that's possible, and so much that is a function of good fortune and perfect timing and everything else.
Absolutely.
And, my story is my story, and I've had plenty of good luck and opportunity come my way over the course of my career. Mm-hmm. But even now, if you're starting out tomorrow, you could be an exceptional songwriter and your music might never be heard.
Absolutely.
So you have to now have, as I say, those entrepreneurial skills, mm-hmm. but also, you have to have a certain set of social skills in order to be able to make connections with other people. Mm-hmm. And I think, the key for me has always been making it a collaborative art. Yeah. So working with other people. And that could be looked upon in the business side of it as well, but primarily creatively, where, you're a songwriter, you feel like, okay, my strength is lyric writing. Mm-hmm. So what I'll do is I'm going to go out to every writer's night that I can, play my songs, get heard, meet other people who are at the same level as I am, find someone who kind of does what I don't do, mm-hmm. and then maybe we'll try to hook up with a singer who needs some songwriters, and you build a team. That part of it has never changed.
Right.
And that's something that you just have to either be good at or get good at, or else your songs will die in obscurity, sadly.
For sure.
Yeah. And like you said, it's always been that way, like Tin Pan Alley, right? Mm-hmm. Or Motown Hit Factory, Brill. Maybe one different factor now, Chris, is the number of splits you have going on one song.
Well, that part is just a little nuts when I look at credits on a hit song and there's 10 or 12 writers. But it's the thing is, it's a producer's business now more than ever, and they're still making brilliant creative records. It's just that the process is different.
Yeah.
when I was, at my peak of songwriting in the industry, it was more telling a story. It was more about making an emotional connection with a listener. And now it's like sort of assembly line in a sense that you have to put all the parts together and you bring in people who are specialists at one little thing, whether it's somebody that's great at coming up with, little guitar parts that become signature parts in the song, or whether it's somebody that does, great hooks who will go into a studio and ad-lib a whole bunch of killer vocal hooks, and you'll send them on their way, and then you'll parse through what they gave you, find 2 or 3 bits you like, sample them, play around with them, reshape them, and then fly them into different parts of the song. And, it's a Frankenstein kind of process, but it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And if the singer, when they hear it back, they may go, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter,
Yep,
it really doesn't matter.
It's vocal Photoshop.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Oh.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, I like that.
I know.
Vocal Photoshop.
I just thought of that.
That's good. Chris, credit, there's another split.
Talk to my publisher.
Yeah.